Evening, fam. Evening, awesome tribe. Happy Monday. Um, just want to take. Oh, by the way, I just want to take 2 seconds to say a very heartfelt thank you to everyone who reached out and sent me a couple of messages on the DMs and stuff, and wish me happy Father's Day. I really appreciate it. And this is me taking a second also to reach out to my fellow men and my fellow compadres, wishing you all, for anyone I didn't reach out to. I know I highlighted a couple of friends and collaborators and compadres on my stories, but I also want to say a very heartfelt thank you and appreciation and a high five and elbow bust and everything, just fist bump to all fathers wherever these words reach you. All right, near, far, near and dear. All right, just so you guys can understand how important it is to support each other into this one journey called fatherhood. It's not always easy. It's not always fun. But it's very important to, acknowledge each other as brothers, as fellow men, to understand that, happy Father's Day. It's important to understand the role that you play as a leader, a teacher, provider, and a protector. For me, those are the basic four cornerstones of fatherhood: leader, teacher, protector, provider. And it's very important to send these messages of appreciation, acknowledgement, as fellow warriors, as fellow leaders, as fellow men. We have to be there for each other, especially during these times. I know a lot of dads who are stepping up, and it's not for acknowledgement, it's not for appreciation, it's not for just like showing up or everything, but it's good to know that I see you and I recognize you and I acknowledge you. All right. So happy Father's Day to every father out there, listening to this, because it's very important. That said, I want to step in tonight to take 2 seconds just to talk, because had a thing that went through my head over the course of the weekend, and I thought it would be nice to share just my 2 cents about this conversation I was having with someone. And the thing is, for me, one long-standing, out of many, of course, long-standing, guiding compass in terms of values or, words of wisdom that I carry with myself is very pretty much summed up in a lot of ways, in a very simple way, like very simple terms. Wherever you go, there you are. And I was making sure that in the conversation, it was very important that where I was coming from when growing up and being in Montreal and, just going through the motions. And I talk a lot about, coming to Montreal and fending for myself and trying to make my life happen and stuff. But when I read that, and I have to be honest, I don't even remember where I read it, but it stayed with me. And when I read that and said, wherever you go, there you are, I, at the time, was taking it in a very stoic way, if you will, in regards to, you can only rely on yourself, and, you will walk this path alone for a really long time. You better get used to it, and you will walk the path of the Agoge. Guys, read up on the Spartans. You will walk the path of the warrior, and there's part of your life, part of your journey that is going to find you alone and only relying on yourself. So the first period of when those words stayed with me was very consequential, because in that time I was pretty much alone. A lot of people don't want to hear this, but I was pretty much alone, fending for myself and trying to, make my life happen in some which way, shape, or form. But why this came back to me recently, especially over the weekend when this conversation, it's because of, you have to understand that words have meaning, and you have to re-explore, even if you've heard something often enough, and even if it is guiding compass and words of wisdom, you have to revisit the words that you hear. And for me, how it resonated was the fact that wherever you go, there you are, means that my own interpretation is that you are condemned I don't want to use condemned, but let's just say that you are destined to spend the most amount of time with yourself. Like yourself, like you, yourself is the companion that will always be there. No matter where you go, there you are, you know? You will always be your own companion. You will always be your own witness. You will always be the person you have to rely on. You will always be that one person in your corner. You will always be an army of one. You will always be, you know, doing a stand-up comedy show for yourself, whether it's in front of the mirror, in front of a crowd. The first person you have to rely on, and the first person who will undoubtedly always be there, is you. And how I reinterpreted it, shifted, if you will, in regards to the fact that what type of a person do you want to hang out with? What type of person do you choose to be? What type of a person do you consider yourself right now? As you're looking at yourself in the mirror, what type of companion are you? What type of collaborator are you? What type of support system are you? How do you speak to yourself? How do you relate to yourself? How do you view yourself? How do you empower yourself? How do you, esteem yourself? How do you consider yourself? How do you see yourself? I see you. You have to spend that time with yourself. And a lot of times you have to bring that back in regards to the times you have to spend with yourself, guys. It is very, very, very important. A lot of people are not comfortable being by themselves. Sometimes you always have to reconsider the fact that, hey, a lot of people try to find a lot of surroundings, a lot of social circles, a lot of, tribes, and okay, let's get together because they don't want to spend time with themselves. Part of your growth, part of solving your own formula is going to rely on you just plainly and simply understanding that you are supposed to, hey, a bunch of people joining the live. Hey, Max. Hey, Ray. What was I saying? Yeah. Part of your journey is going to demand that you spend an incredible amount of time, understanding yourself, being with yourself, asking yourself the tough questions, because you are spending, even your spouse, even your kids, there's a part of you that is, I'm not going to say hidden, but still needs a little bit more attention that it normally would. So you are obligated to explore that realm for the good, the bad, and the ugly, and be able to interpret and associate and express that to your loved ones, to your close ones, to your colleagues, to your collaborators. You have to know your triggers. You have to know what jazzes you. You have to know what depresses you. You have to know your patterns. You have to know what your ambitions are. You have to be able to speak yourself into the universe. You need to be able to speak your reality, because I am not in your head. If you and I are going to collaborate, if you and I are going to walk a journey, if I need you in my corner, I need to know, who am I dealing with? And a lot of people play a role. A lot of people like to push an image forward, like they tell us what they think we want to hear, as opposed to, what is actually going on, what is actually underneath. And vulnerability and transparency is very scary for some people. This is where I invite you yet again to re-explore that concept of the agoge, like spending the time with yourself. Wherever you go, there you are. You are destined to spend the most amount of time with yourself. I'm not talking about shutting the world away, but sometimes you have to. Sometimes you need to take a break and re-explore. Okay, what matters to me? What doesn't? What do I need? What can I do without? These are these are concepts that I often like to bring forth, because that's what helps me trying to recenter. I need to break away. And if I'm going to take a recent example, you guys realize I have not published an episode in a couple of weeks. Personal projects notwithstanding, but this was an important step, because I do this from time to time. Break away from the socials, break away from media, break away from everything. Yeah, I'll post here and there because it's fun just to keep in touch with what's going on. But what's most important is reconnecting with what matters to me, what makes me, me, what makes you, you. And these are not just words just thrown into the universe. You need to understand the formula of you. Because if you can't understand you, how the hell do you expect other people to? Oh, you can put on a facade. You can push what you think people want. But what people want or buying into or connecting with or befriending or loving is the authentic you. And sometimes we lose ourselves in the noise and the toxicity and, just the overall confusion and overwhelm. But you are allowed and you have a duty to take this time to step away and speak that truth. That's what I did. Spoke to my wife. I'm like, you know what? Oh, babe, you haven't posted in a couple of weeks. Yeah, I know. Because I'm taking time for myself. What do I enjoy doing? I enjoy comic books. I rediscovered my comic books. I enjoy reading more than I do Netflix. I have not done Netflix in a while. And this is a funny one, I haven't had coffee in a really long time. Since even before the holidays. I stopped coffee. And the reason is very simple. Why am I doing this? Like, if I get offered coffee, like socially, fine. But I'm not as, downing gallons of coffee as much as I used to. It's not for a reason of being holier than thou or anything. I'm not saying just to be pompous or anything. It's just about, this is my formula for me. This is how I choose to define myself. This is me just being very vulnerable and opening up to myself and looking myself into my own mirror of my own values, of my own realities and how I shape my being, and realizing like, okay, what do I need? What don't I need? What is essential? What can I do without? These are the questions you need to ask yourself, guys, because your patterns can change. Patterns can be altered. Patterns can be modified, but you need to be able to identify them. Some are totally out of control. Some are bred before even you were born, but patterns can change. Patterns can be altered. Patterns can be modified. Patterns can pivot. You need to understand what makes you, you. Wherever you go, there you are. You have an obligation to make sure that this companion, this collaborator, this support system, this acolyte that is you, that is yourself, is the best version of you that you can look forward to. I am sending you nothing but support and encouragement. And if you want to keep re-exploring this concept, we have to have another conversation about this. I'm always open. Hit me up on the DMs or, just shoot me an email and we can just talk about it just a little bit more. If this message resonated with you, make sure you share it. It's really appreciated because these are things that I really try to push forward because I think that these are things that maybe might be useful to anyone that might be resonating with this message. So again, if you thought that this message, was in any way resonating with you or someone you know, please let me know, tag me, and, let's keep the conversation going. Wherever you go, there you are. Never forget that you are the architect. And I'm going to say this again. You are the architect of your own destiny. You are the artist that makes the tapestry of the beautiful self. That is you. All right. You can totally, you are not bound by some form of like predefined script. You write the script every day. All it takes is a decision. All it takes is a vision. Wherever you go, there you are. You are empowered by yourself. You are supporting someone who wants nothing more than to see you walk that path towards your own greatness. Wherever you go, there you are. I learned this at two very particular times in my life, and I still carry it. I don't know why that came over the weekend, but I thought that was very important for you guys to hear me out in regards to how that's resonated with me. And I hope it resonates with you. I'm not going to keep you up any longer. Thank you so much for joining this live. Anyone joined in, I love you. Hey, Dennis. Good to see you, man. But wherever you go, I'll meet you there. Love you guys. Stay awesome.